Hi guys, Reaper here, welcome back, thanks for tuning in. Before you I present the Bellicose Covert Ops 2. I've had a few requests to get a video out on this ship, and I've always been a massive fan of the Bellicose, having covered all of the other ships so far. This is by far the most powerful when it comes to DPS and its versatility. If we have a look at the ship, the Bellicose range certainly is strange looking. If we have a look at the front of the ship there, you can see the nose. The glass pattern looks very much like an old Messerschmitt ME-264, if you're familiar with the warplanes, looking at the front canopy there. It's yeah, quite interesting how far Minmatar will go to get their scraps. Anyway, moving along, having a look at this ship's attributes. For every level of micro warp drive operation, you'll have a 7.5% bonus to target painter effectiveness, a minus 10% reduction to the micro warp drive signature radius penalty. For every level of advanced cruiser command, you'll have a 4% reduction to your signature bonus, a 5% bonus to medium missile and torpedo velocity, and a 12% bonus to the medium missile and torpedo damage, which with max skills is giving you 10% more damage bonus compared to the Bellicose Interdictor, which I covered in my last video to do with the Bellicose range. Can use Covert Ops cloaks, and of course a 50% reduction to your lock time when you come out of cloak, which is really nice. Still a bit too long though, 15 seconds to actually do anything with it, particularly for PvP specifically speaking. Then we've got the defense of this ship, 22,163 in total effective hit points, 6,600 shield, 6,000 armor. Looking at the capacitor, we're stable with this build, which is quite controversial. I'm going to show you two different fits today. One's the kiting fit, which I think most people would use, and then we've got this up-close brawling fit. You can see there I've got a tiny sig radius of 57 meters, helped by the ship bonus. Of course, all of my skills are maxed looking at this on the Fulmination server. A decent speed of 445 ms, which means I'm hitting 1,200 kilometers per second. Yeah, you can see here my scan resolution without the cloaking device is 477, and it's 260 with it on, so I am a bit slow to lock, but that is one of the disadvantages of having this, and if you use it correctly, you can get about null space even bypassing bubbles, which I'll talk to you about during the combat bit a bit later on. So for this brawling fit, I've got a C-type medium shield booster and a C-type adaptive invulnerability field. I've got the cloaking device you can see there, which has a 15-second cloaking targeting delay time. I think in PvP that's still an eternity. 15 seconds is enough time for you to do a lot of things. So yeah, hopefully that comes down at some point, or faction ones come out. And then I've got the afterburner. Now, brawling fit, I've gone with the afterburner for my sig radius, keeping that small and being able to speed tank somewhat. I've got the target painter, which is doing 50% bonus with my ship skills, which is great. The Viracolicas, Nosferatu, a scrambler, stasis web of fire, and I've got the Mark 9 Valkyrie. So, in the rig slots for combat, I've got 1 damage rig and 2 activation time rigs, which is the optimal DPS for this ship and for most ships for that purpose. And in the engineering rigs, I've got 2 cap control circuit Tech 2 and 1 semiconductor, because really the Tech 3s are ridiculous price. I mean, you're talking over $1 billion ISK just for the rigs on that. So I'm trying to keep this a bit more realistic, as in something that people can fly without spending billions of ISK. Before I take the ship out to test it, I'm just going to give you a run through of the other fitting, which is, I believe, going to be more people's choice or preference for what the ship can do. It's especially suited for being a kiter with that bonus to the micro warp drive. Looking at this with the medium launchers on, we've got a decent range of 46 kilometers, so we can really sit back outside of the danger area and apply some DPS. Damage application isn't amazing, but I have got 2 target painters which I've swapped out for the build, specifically speaking. So with both of those doing almost 50%, you're looking at around 80% bonus to ship signature radiuses. I've kept the medium shield booster, and then I've swapped out for a cap battery instead of the adaptive, as I'll be speed tanking more than anything else using this fitting. And of course I've put on the micro warp drive, which does increase my signature radius to 160 to 170 meters, but going at that speed it's still pretty damn good, especially with that bonus. So by no means am I massive. I'm somewhere between the size of a cruiser and a battle cruiser, which is, yeah, really quite good. The DPS for this type of ship, for this range of a build, is pretty staggering. I mean, 719 DPS is pretty amazing, and also, as you'll see with the cap battery, I'm pretty much able to run all of my modules, it feels like, for such a long time that I'm never going to run out of capacitor. I'm not going to need to boost that shield all of the time. I should only need to boost it occasionally. So we're here in a expert level mission. This is a Tech 10. So if you're out in nullsec looking for some scout or inquisitor sites, you'll find ships are fairly similar to this. On some of the final waves, you'll also have elite ships, which you do in these type of encounters. So if you're able to get past all of the bubbles out there and get into nullsec, then you'll find that, yeah, it can be quite rewarding. So we've got a frigate here, a Condor Interceptor, which is micro warp driving over to me, and I'm hitting it actually for pretty good damage. Normally it would take forever to kill a micro warp drive frig, but with these target painters and the ship bonuses, about 4 volleys and I've got him down, which means I can then focus on the other ships and really not have to worry. And of course, if there's a micro warp driving elite frigate, which is super fast, 4 or 5 kilometers per second, he will get a tackle on me, but then of course I can put my scram and web back on him, and then with those 2 target painters he should go down, yeah, pretty quickly, that you're not going to have to worry about that too much. So this ship's got massive potential to do these encounters. Whilst I'm attacking these ships, I'll just talk you through a couple of other things. If you're taking a covert op ships into nullsec, my best advice is to not have the autopilot engaged and switched on. When you arrive in nullsec, deactivate it, and then look at your out gate, have the gate set up on your overview so you know which gate's next. Don't warp to the gate at 0, warp to the gate if you see there's 5 or 6 or however many people in local. Even if it's 1 or 2 people, I would be warping to that gate at around 30 kilometers. That way you're not going to be uncloaked if somebody's sat at the edge of a bubble. If it's clear, then you can uncloak, tap your micro warp drive and get to that gate in a couple of seconds. When you jump through the gate, you want to make sure your cloak's ready to go, and if there is a gate camp and there's loads and loads and loads of people, then it could be quite difficult. But if there's nobody near you where you jump through, you can tap out into space towards a celestial, engage your micro warp drive, hit the cloak button. They then can't lock you down to apply a tackle. You should go outside of the bubble range and then be able to warp to a celestial. At that point, it's too late for them to catch you, and then crack on. So as you can see with this damage, I'm able to, well, I've been running my modules now pretty much the whole time I've just been explaining that, and since we've warped into this, I don't need to be boosting my shield all the time. It's very rare that I will have to do that. So that just goes to show how competent this ship is for doing these kind of sites. Even if you're going into nullsec and you find something like a battleship, which will be of the same tier as this ship, you should be able to take it out pretty easily and apply a tackle. If I was going out specifically to PvP, I may swap out my scram for a 30-kilometer disruptor so that I can orbit a bit further and keep my speed up. However, I like the scrambler because if I'm fighting NPCs, I've got a way to deal with the elite micro warp drivers. Yeah, so I think this particular build, the way I've got this set right now, is how I would fly this ship if I was taking it into nullsec, or even if I was using it for ratting, in other areas like lowsec. It's really quite impressive. It can certainly handle itself. You don't need to run all of the modules all of the time. And yeah, I believe if you're smart about it, you can navigate around nullsec and bypass some of the camps. Moving along, we're now in the Torpedo fit, so some of you might prefer Brawling being up close and personal. With this build having the kind of DPS that I have, almost 900, is again very impressive for something that only is using 3 low slots. Having that Covert Ops taking one of those, not relying, 886 DPS, so just shy of the 900 mark, which is phenomenal for a Covert Op ship. I don't think there'll be any other ones in the game that could kind of muster that kind of damage. And if you're doing some high-sec missions, ones that you need to unlock some stories, or if you wanted to go out and do some PvP and do some serious damage up close, do some brawling and move fast with your afterburner and have a low sig radius and do some speed tanking, then this could be the build for you. Now, I've kept my rigs exactly the same, so I can swap out between the two builds to do different things. Again, a very versatile ship, but you can see up close here, I'm applying tremendous damage to pretty much everything because I've got things boosted with the target painter, doing that extra 49% sig radius, and I've got a web and scram. The nice thing about this ship compared to the previous Bellicoses is it has the 4 mid slots, which makes a massive difference. You know, a hell of a big difference. I'd trade that low slot for a mid slot any day. So yeah, as you can see, for this I don't really need to tell you too much really. I think I've explained it, but up close I could tank for days and not have to activate my shield booster hardly ever with the low sig radius and my speed. Even if I get tackled by a few ships, I could just turn on the shield booster and I'm fairly confident I could take them out. So with this ship I would be more than happy to take on things like Sweet Poison and Bad Hair Day, just due to the speed tanking and versatility of the ship and its damage application. I do need to mention as well that this is the Fulmination server, of course, so my skills are maxed. However, on the live server, my skills for cruisers are near maxed anyway, so it's pretty similar on the DPS. But what you're looking at now could be subject to change, as it's on the test server, and although we're only, I would say, around a week away from people hitting Tech 9 for the vast majority, in those few days, things could still change, and things could differ to what you see in this video, but this will give you an incredibly good idea of what's to come, and if things don't change, you'll know exactly what to expect. I think that's it. I think my verdict on this ship is it's awesome, fantastic, one of the best ships I've flown, extremely versatile, can go places, can scout, can do good damage, pretty much a complete all-rounder. I hope you guys agree. Hit me up in the comments below if you have any questions. If you could like and subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing. And please stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching.